And welcome into Tennessee Tuesday. It's a Tuesday evening, July the 28th. I'm your host, John Blankenship, joined by my co-host, Jason Boshears, and our special guest tonight, Kentucky Division Commander Kyle Thompson, will be here with us this evening as we've got a great program lined up as we kick off season number 3. And Jason, it's hard to believe we have already made it through our first 2 seasons.
How is that possible? Where did the time go?
And this has been fun. Look forward to every Tuesday night. We had a special edition last week, if you watched, which was one of those pre-recorded editions that cover the national reunion in Lexington, Kentucky. We just saw Kyle up there just a couple of weeks ago, and a great job. The Bluegrass Brigade and the Kentucky Division did pulling off a national reunion. Just a great time there. And we recapped all that last week. We may, at the end of the program, we'll go over the General Executive Council. I've had some folks ask, who are the guys running the organization and leading the organization? We'll tell you that complete list again at the end of tonight's program. And again, we appreciate the leadership of our organization, allowing us to do this program and allowing us to talk about the SCV and what it does. And you can see our disclaimer tonight that the views and opinions that you hear expressed on this program are entirely our own, not those of the SCV, any division, brigades, camps, or subsidiaries of our organization. It's totally our own. So there is our disclaimer this evening, and we have kicked off season number 3. And we want to say a shout out to a few folks tonight that are already joining us this evening, and we'll cheer a few of those. Again, we thank you for commenting on the video. Again, Mr. Owens joining us tonight from Virginia, so hello to him. Hope he's having a good evening. Also, Daniel Brooks joining us. Hope he's doing well there. It was great to meet him as well. Got to meet a lot of folks up in Kentucky that we've talked with on here, but hadn't got to meet in person. Johnny Jenkins joining us there from Springfield, Missouri. Hope he's doing well this evening too. Randy joining us from Union City. Hope Randy's doing well. Just down the road, not too far from Kyle there.
Yeah, we know those guys well.
Yeah, down this way a lot. I see Connor joining us this evening. Hope he's doing well, and he's got a new appointment that we talked about on the General Executive Council. We'll tell you about that later on in the program. I know he's going to do a good job leading our organization there. Let's see some other folks that have been joining us here this evening. Here's of course, we know who T-Rex is, the guy with the short arms. But I picked up the name Kyle Swiper.
Oh, well.
I seem to swipe Harrison or Moose's guess.
Well, we can just, he has his own shows. He can set this one out.
Yes. So here's what we talked about, the new commander-in-chief, lieutenant commander-in-chief. I am waiting on Moose to get them scheduled first before we have them on Tennessee Tuesday. So as soon as they kick off, I believe in August, they'll have them, and we'll have them on here as well. Chuck Roydhouse joining us this evening from the General Hatton camp. Hope Chuck is doing well tonight. Let's see, also joining us. Let's see, we'll do a couple of more, and then we'll jump into our conversation tonight. Derek Glover from Jamestown. Hope Derek is doing well tonight.
I don't know how he's late. He's been talking to me all day.
Man, he's all over the place. He's a busy man. I wish I had half the energy he has.
We had him Sunday in Mayfield, just down the road here.
Absolutely. Well, Charles LeRae joining us, who is the new Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief of the SCV. He's on with us, and he says he's hearing some echo, and I hear that too, and I thought it may be just something we're hearing it. So we'll kind of watch and see how that goes. Sometimes that's a StreamYard issue. Sometimes it could be a mic thing. So, Kyle, if that ends up being you, we may have you go back to that headset.
I will use the PlayStation headset if it's needed.
I know you're wanting to use that so bad tonight.
It's ridiculous, but it'll work.
We'll see how it goes. Also, a couple of other folks, let's see, joining us here. We want to try to get through several of these. There's a couple of, don't we love spam? There's a couple of spam things in the chat tonight I got rid of. Al joining us from Tullahoma this evening. Also, Josh Dowdy joining us from Gallatin. Hope all those guys are doing well. Glad to have you with us tonight. And Charles says that's gone now. So hopefully that was just a StreamYard issue. So
it'll work.
We'll kind of work through those things. But as we jump in, let's welcome our guest tonight, Mr. Kyle Thompson. He is the Kentucky Division Commander and a busy man. I know he's all over the Bluegrass State and been very busy with the National Reunion. Kyle, as you are joining us tonight, tell us how National Reunion went. I know you weren't directly organizing that, but I know you've had a part in it.
Thank God. I couldn't have done it. There's no way. These guys that have done them before, we got lucky to have somebody like Chris Hawkins and his guys that said, hey, my guys will do this. Let us do it. And when Chris tells you he's going to do something, you just let him do it. And if he needs the help, then he'll ask for it. And he didn't ask for a lot of help. So we were always there in case he needed something. And he didn't ask for a whole lot. And his guys, they did exactly what he said they were going to do. And I was just there to, and you know how it goes. So when you're division commanders and up in the GEC and stuff, you do a lot of handshaking, a lot of patting and talking to people and introducing yourselves. And that was we kind of made a trade-off. Those guys were doing a lot of the heavy lifting, most of the heavy lifting. And a lot of our guys on the DEC were getting to know a lot of the other divisions and making those contacts. And I thought everything, all things considered, went about as well as they could have. This is my fifth one in a row. And it was, maybe I'm a little biased, but it was my favorite one. So it was a far cry from the first one because I went to Georgia by myself and didn't know anybody. And now
I've been there, done that. Didn't really know anybody.
I felt like I told Jill last year in Houston that it was the first time I felt like I was part of this traveling circus. And that's the way I look at it, in a good way, because when we feel like we come into town and we kind of take over everything for a little bit. And this year was quite a bit different. I don't know about y'all, but I thought those 3-4 days flew by in a hurry. It felt like we were leaving as soon as we got there, but a lot of business. But I did, like I said, from the podium Thursday, I didn't really have anything to do with the planning. I missed a lot of the walkthroughs because work just wouldn't allow me to get off for it. But Chris and the Bluegrass Brigade did all of it themselves. 99.999%, maybe 100. So all the credit should go to them. And our Lieutenant Commander, Jeff Fugate, who's been on, a couple of these programs a few times, he was the one that the contact, he's much closer. He's not too far from Lexington. So we kind of split duties in the state. He takes most everything east of Bowling Green, and I take everything kind of west. And we got about 18 camps. I've got 10 over here. He has 8 on that side. So we just kind of split those duties. And he's been as good a lieutenant as anybody could ask for. And, we'll simply still say that next week when we're doing all that nonsense we were talking about earlier. But it was it'll be a lot of fun. I thought reunion went about as well as it could, all things considered.
Yeah, it was a great event. And Kim Hoffaker joining us this evening. And Kim, I have said your last name. He got me at the first time we got to meet each other was at National Reunion. He says I avoid his last name, and I'm one. I don't like to mess up names. So if I mess that up, I'll forever owe him. But good to see Kim. Good to officially meet him in person, and glad he watches with us from Florida each week. And again, David Pope joining on tonight from East Tennessee. Hope David is well. And of course, we'll talk about his program that he has on Friday evenings a little bit later on. So a lot of folks joining us this evening. We appreciate you sharing this video. That's how it grows and expands. We also appreciate the official page of the SCV sharing a link to our program tonight. So we want to pick up more SCV members learning about what we're doing. And after our first break, Kyle's going to be telling us about a big event that he's really taken the lead on at Fort Donaldson. We're going to talk about that and the Tennessee division and Kentucky division partnering together. And then there's other divisions and organizations coming to make this memorial service a special time. We're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. But Kyle, folks that may not know you, tell folks a little bit about who you are, kind of how you got interested in history in the SCV and kind of your role as Kentucky division commander.
Well, it'll be about 2 hours worth. So let's just get settled in real fast. Now, I was always into history as a kid. I don't know where it came from. It's organic and natural, and that's usually the best way to do it. It's funny. I actually pulled my high school class ring out a few days ago, my senior ring, and I was not really heavy into this stuff in 2002. But for some reason, I put a Confederate battle flag with the double cross sabers on my ring in 2002.
Oh, wow.
I need to send you a picture of that because that option is not available anymore with
you can't get those.
Al4 or whoever the company was that made them, but it's a nice ring. And I thought it might have, maybe I was a little ahead of myself, and I didn't find the SCV until 2015. We had a camp that met amazingly about 2.5-3 miles down the road. And we had about a 18 man camp, and Jason knows we would eat and have coffee and retreat, if you want to call it that. Just go home. It was a little more of a dinner club, and it was Dr. Hyder's group and a lot of good guys there. But I was for a long time didn't talk. I just kind of sit and observe. I know most people don't.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to believe.
Hard to believe. For about a year, I didn't say anything. I was just sitting there, just talking to these guys or listening to them. But I lucked out because Tom Hyder was in my camp, and we had a few other guys that were had done some division work and some brigade work. And I joined in 2015, and I got into the division leadership, I guess, in 2018, 19. I became lieutenant commander real fast, and then the commander spot was there to come into, and I ran for it and won it. And now I'm on my third term because for some reason Kentucky doesn't have term limits. So I've been told by a few guys that I may just be here for a while. We'll see how that goes. But I may do one more. I haven't decided. But as far as me, like I said, most people that watch this show, the ones that follow it, most of them know my hobbies. I know a few of them that are watching. We talk about a lot of my hobbies, off on other.
Let's talk about that, Kyle, because we should clarify again, because I had many ask me at National Reunion, how come the Tennessee division commander booed the Kentucky division commander? We had that plan that I was going to do that. That's kind of a running joke. That wasn't serious.
I told everybody that would listen, and Jason's one of them. I said, man, I'm going to have some fun with them if I can remember to do it, because you never know if you're going to do that when you get up in front of a crowd like that. There's a lot of times you change your mind and freeze. I don't think I froze, but I was just really wanting to go up, and I did the Lincoln thing about being a distant relative of Abraham Lincoln, and how grateful I was to address a body of that size, being a descendant of his. And the whole Hulkster thing, doing the salute. And then when I said, I was fully expecting some people to boo out of fun, because a lot of us had talked about doing it, but you're the only one that really did it. It was hilarious.
And I got looks, people turned and just looked at me. If looks could kill.
Well,
wow.
John,
it's not serious.
No, don't yell at John. He didn't do anything wrong. It was I was kind of egging it on too, and like I said, we had some fun, and that's the whole point of it. And like we were talking beforehand about, we take things maybe too serious a lot of times, and I had every intention of trying to be a little more comedic relief at the reunion, because I wasn't going to talk for 2 minutes because I didn't have really anything to do with it. I was there just to welcome everybody. And hell, everybody knew we were already in Kentucky. They didn't need to hear too much from me. So I was just going to salute a few people like I did with Nora. If she was here tonight, she would love this, but she's with her mom tonight. So she'd be sitting right here next to me, probably trying to jump in. But you may see a cat fly by me in a minute, so don't think nothing about that. But we need to get Jason one of these mustaches. We were doing it earlier, but he wouldn't do it. So
yeah, he would
put in it.
Yeah, he won't do one. But what you don't know is he has a Hulkster shirt on underneath that, and somewhere tonight he's gonna do the.
That's the new one. That's the number one Japanese. That's right. I think I got a whole arsenal of these. Every time I see Jason, I've got a Hogan shirt on. So that's the way to do it.
I think I've only seen you wear black and yellow, the Hogan colors.
I may just be good Hogan for Halloween because, Nora asked me to be bad Hogan, Hollywood Hogan for Halloween last year. And that worked pretty well. And I've got all the stuff left over. I was like, I may just do the old red and yellow Hulk this time. But
so were you a fan of the Hollywood Hogan era, the NWO era?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I was, that was an odd time of wrestling. And we got to be careful. I don't want to go in a rabbit hole on that. But by 96, Hogan's shtick of, training, saying your prayers, eat your vitamins. Most people were getting kind of tired of that. It was the world was changing. They were doing a lot of anti-hero. This is right before Stone Cold Steve Austin blew up across the country. So when Hulk went dark, we didn't have the reaction that the people in the arena did, throwing stuff and booing. We were like, yeah, we can get behind that.
Yeah,
and we were. So it was, you won't ever get that time back. That was a fun time to be a fan for sure.
David Pope brings up Goldberg. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Man, we may have to do a wrestling show.
Yeah.
I know we got some wrestling fans.
Won't ever get me off here if we do that. It'd be ridiculous.
Well, Kyle Thompson is our guest this evening here. We're going to be talking about after our first break an event that's coming up this Saturday, August the 1st at Fort Donelson. And just outside of Dover, we're going to be there at the Confederate Soldiers Monument. We'll talk about that event, break it down. It's going to be a big crowd. Lots of folks saying they're going to be there. A lot of different speakers as we honor our ancestors, especially those that were at Fort Donelson. And I think I've said before, I had an ancestor that was captured there at Fort Donelson. So it's kind of a personal time there, a connection. We'll talk about that after this first break and also talk about some other things going on at the Jefferson Davis Monument, I believe, there in part 2.
Absolutely.
Well, let's go ahead and we're going to take our first break. We need to talk about our sponsors, Jason. Let's go through some of those folks tonight that, again, make our show possible. We couldn't do this without the fine folks that have partnered with SCB Chat and Tennessee Tuesday to bring these shows to you. And we'll put that scrolling list at the bottom of all those names and they're not just names. They're individuals that have teamed up with us and support the work we do here to tell the story of the SCB and our ancestors. We do appreciate them partnering with us, and there's many different levels from the ones you see at the bottom to show sponsors. And Jason, tell us a little bit about our sponsorship opportunities.
Thank you, commanders. I think it's awful cool. I'm sitting here talking to 2 commanders. That's awesome. All the names that you see scrolling across the bottom, they have joined through Patreon. And you can go to scvchat.com and join Patreon that way. Or you can go to Patreon, Patreon, and you can go to Patreon and find SCV Chat there. And you can join at different levels. The entry one is $2.50 a month. And that is the Feed a Moose level. Yes. Then you go to $10 a month. Mm-hmm. And that is the what they call the real chat head level. Now at that $10 a month, you start getting some behind the scenes stuff. You start finding out what the shows the guys have plans. You'll see the things that they're putting together. And then the next level up is the $30 a month. And at the $30 a month level, you still have the chat head where you hear all of that. Plus, you get some merchandise sent your way every 3-4 months, something like that. You'll have something sent your way. I posted mine on Facebook that I got recently, and that was the SCV Chat coffee mug.
Yeah.
And just every so often, you'll get something like that. You'll get stickers, something like that come in. And then you get to the $80 a month. And the $80 a month, Those are our show sponsors. And Commander Blankenship, would you like to talk about the show sponsors?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go through our show sponsors now. And again, we start out with Dr. Chris Cummings. Of course, Dr. Cummings is an SCB member, a longtime SCB member. He's in Oxford, Mississippi, modern medicine, Southern hospitality there. You see his contact information if you'd like to reach out to him and make a visit. We've talked about knee pain. We're talking about our event coming up Saturday, and I know we all experience some of that, some of us more than others right now going on. Dr. Cummings can take care of you with that and many other health issues you may have. Dr. Chris Cummings, again, one of our sponsors tonight. Jason, tell us about 31st Reg Engraving.
Yes, and this is Todd Terry. This is the California Division Commander, and it was great to see him at National Reunion. And we talked about the merchandise that he has here, and it's 31stregengraving.com. 31STREG engraving.com. And they have some really nice items that they have on there, from the earrings to the challenge coins. And you have heard Moose talk a great deal about his bracelet that he had made for his Confederate ancestor with his name on it. I've looked at the merchandise, and it's very good merchandise. Contact Todd Terry, California Division Commander, 31st Reg engraving.com.
And it sure was good to meet. It was good to meet Todd. Got to meet him in person at the reunion as we were waiting to do the flag presentation.
Yes, he's a really cool guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Larry McClooney. I was going to call him Dr. Larry McClooney. I don't know. Is Larry a doctor? I've got doctor in mind.
No, Dr. McClooney.
We're making him an honorary doctor tonight. Larry McClooney, of course, booksbylarry.com. Paradox of Freedom sold really, really well at the National Reunion in Lexington. I believe he either sold out of those books or almost did, but I saw he has new copies available in stock, and those will go fast. So if you want to get a copy of Paradox of Freedom, A History of Black Slaveholders in America, you can pick those up by going to booksbylarry.com. Beauregard's Taylor, Jason, tell us more about them.
Beauregard's Taylor, they are a family business. They're offering authentic War Between the States reproduction items, from flags to T-shirts, lapel pins, good high-quality merchandise. When they started out as making uniforms, and their uniforms were spot on. They were very accurate, very detailed. They have eased out of that side of the business. Now I'm understanding that they do have some merchandise of, uniform pieces that are still there. You could contact them, see what they have, but it's Beauregard'sTaylor.shop. And you can go there, and I know some people that really like their flags. And, a lot of our guys are into stickers, and they get the stickers from there as well. And I've seen a couple of the lapel pins, and they do very well. Yes.
Also, of course, the museum at Market Hall. If the flag is out there open, the regular hours are Thursday through Sunday from 11 until 4. You need to go see them when you're in Charleston, South Carolina. First saw that museum a couple of years ago at the National Reunion there. Took a tour. Again, it's been there a long time, since 1899. You can visit their website, museum@markethall.com. They have a gift shop and items for sale, and you can learn about how you can support and donate to the cause there and help preserve Confederate artifacts at the museum at Market Hall in Charleston, South Carolina. Also, the Sam Davis Home and Museum, Jason, in Smyrna. This is a beautiful reminder of the story of Sam Davis and his sacrifice for the South. He is the boy hero of the Confederacy. And again, you need to go tour his home. Tell us about it.
Yes. Now, there's quite a few things to do outside. You could have a picnic by the creek side. They have a herb garden. They have nature trails. You can go inside the house. When you go in, let's just say you go inside the museum first, because you pull up and you go inside the museum first. You can go through there. You can watch a story about Sam. You can go read the letter that Sam wrote to his mother the night before he was executed, November 27th of 18. And November 27th, about 10:20 that morning. And the night before, he wrote a letter home to his mother. and that letter is there for you to read, for you to see. And you can go to the home, and you can Sam laid in state. When you go in the front door on the right, on the parlor was where Sam laid in state. You can go up and see the girls' room. The girls' room was where Sam's mother was standing when she heard the wagon, walked out, walked to the window, saw the coffin and collapsed. You can go to the window where the parents' bedroom where Sam tapped that night. You can go to the rock where Sam tied his horse that fateful night. Last night he was there. And you can go to the grave site and see Sam. There's a whole lot of work that's been going on to the home. We have redone the windows. Now we've done them all back original. We've not gone through and put these new double panes. All of the windows are now, they've been gone back, the original glass in the original place. And we're going back and found the original colors that the home was back in the day, and making a determination about the color on the shutters and the home, and getting ready to paint that sometime into the future. There's a lot of work that's going on at the home. So.
Well, we appreciate all of our sponsors tonight. Thank you all for partnering with us here at Tennessee Tuesday and SCB Chat. Guys, we'll go ahead and take our break. We'll come back. We'll be talking more with Kyle Thompson from the Kentucky Division about the event taking place this Saturday in Fort Thompson.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
Was your great-grandfather a traitor or a patriot? Today's politically correct are trying hard to take away the heritage of the brave Confederate soldiers who fought and died for their land. But one thing is certain, they can't change history. Those Confederate soldiers were fighting for the same reason soldiers fight today. They were fighting against homeland invasion. We believe that the desecration of the bravery, patriotism, and honor of those men should not be allowed. They were outmanned and outsupplied, but they were never outfought. They were proud men who believed in fighting to protect their dignity, their homes, and their families. If you're the male descendant of a Confederate soldier, we'd welcome you to join with us in the preservation of that heritage. We're the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Check us out on the internet at scv.org or call us at 800-MY-SOUTH. That's 800-697-6884. Sons of Confederate Veterans, dedicated to preserving the reputation of men like Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, and your great-grandfather.
And welcome back into Tennessee Tuesday. It's Tuesday evening, July the 28th. We have kicked off season number 3, and we're glad you're here with us. I'm your host, John Blankenship, along with my co-host, Jason Boshears. And our special guest tonight is Kyle Thompson joining us, who is the Kentucky Division Commander. And Kyle, we've seen some of the comments tonight. I think we may have to have a special edition wrestling show. Folks are interested in this tonight. They're wanting to be a part of it.
I don't blame them. I don't know. I tell people all the time. I tell my friend Jenna all the time. She's so much younger than me, and I'm like, you don't understand how big of a star Hogan was. I mean, really in the world in the late '80s. I mean, he was probably the most recognizable person on the planet for like 4 or 5 years. And yeah, we should do a show like that because it's something we all have in common. It seems like the guys of my age and right before me and right after me, we all have.
Mm-hmm.
We all have that in common. So that would be a lot of fun. We should come up with some good prizes. That'd be
definitely. That'd be fun. Introduce who you got there with you. You got a guest.
Yeah, it's Ringo. It's my little fuzzy roommate. He's been biting my feet for about 15 minutes. So I just said, you know what? We're going to put you on here and let you wave at everybody. He's ready to go. So
yeah, he looks very calm and looks happy about it. And he gets tossed away.
He gets tossed away. We wrestle quite often, so he's the perfect roommate. He does nothing but eat and go to sleep, so it works out pretty well.
Makes it easy.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle, let's talk about the event coming up this Saturday at Fort Donaldson. This is the second year that you have really put this together and organized this event. We're just kind of tagging along and helping. Kind of talk about what's coming up Saturday, the overview, and then we'll kind of break it down with the different speakers, and we'll kind of talk about parking and all that too. So, what's happening on Saturday?
Well, we've done it unofficially. We've done it, I think, 4 years. We've done it at the monument, I think, 2 years in a row. So this is technically 3. But as far as actually having a really large crowd, this will be the second real year that we have a real crowd, that's fitting of something that we're doing. We started just going to Donaldson on Flag Days and Memorial Days because it's the closest national battlefield to this part of our state. And we're friends with so many people at the Shiloh camp and Union City and Paris. So we have a lot of guys that meet us up there and do that. A lot of us have relatives there. My ancestor that I'm in was through family stories was part of the cavalry unit that broke out of Donaldson with Forrest. I know that's a running joke, I think, in a lot of parts of the SCV. Everybody says my granddad rode with Forrest, and well, some of us actually did to a degree.
Yeah.
My favorite part of last year, though, was Jason didn't tell me that his ancestor was actually there and captured there. And that was a surprise to me listening, from 10 feet away. I thought that was my favorite part of the entire thing. And I got to shout out Brett Cox from the Shiloh camp for videoing that because it's on YouTube and you can watch the whole ceremony. And that was my favorite part because I had no idea that was the truth. And that was a really cool moment. So we've been doing it for a couple of years. I went there a lot when I was a kid. Always enjoyed it. When you think of Fort Donaldson, though, you think of the river batteries, and the cannons on the river. You kind of forget about all the fighting that went on around in the other areas. The Soldiers Monument was dedicated, I think, by the UDC in 1933. And there's your great picture. I think it was 1933. Like I said, there's several. I don't know how many there are. Like when you go to Shiloh, there's 4 or 5.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of them at Donaldson. They just don't know where they are. And from that obelisk and that monument is dedicated to the men that are buried on that ground. So we don't really know where they are on the park. I've got a guy that used to know quite a bit about that stuff. He passed several years ago. But we kind of hold this memorial. We don't do it in February because if we did it in the anniversary, we'd all be freezing. So I've always been asked why we do it in August. I was like, well, a lot of people would rather be hot than cold. Although I'm really debating.
I kind of like the other way. I like the cold part.
Yeah, I said we had no power for about 15 hours yesterday, and it was not pleasant. I'd rather be cold because you can put clothes on. That's
only take so many off. Yep,
it only takes so many off. But to back to the ceremony though, we started putting it together because we had such a good relationship with the National Battlefield and the park. The staff is very welcoming of us, and the fee to hold an event like that is extremely low to where a camp can pay for it. You don't have to have division funds or brigade funds. And we just said, why don't we just reach out to these people and see if we can work with them? And we kind of, as a joke, I say it everywhere I go, Union City, Paris, and say, hey, Kentucky's took over Fort Donaldson. It's ours. Y'all got to come back and get it. And that's great. That's what we want. We want you to come and take it because we've got such a good relationship with them. The staff there are great. And I think last year, one of the ladies told me, she said she'd been there about 16 years. And she said that was the best ceremony she's seen in her time as an employee. It'll be right there at the Soldiers Monument. It's the first tour stop. We were talking pre-show about the parking. That's been the main question today has been parking and weather. And there's the diagram. I'll tell everybody, if you're watching this and you want that, just screenshot this part and take that with you because it is an overhead of of what we're looking at there. They want most of us to park where it says main visitor parking. That is Norfleet Drive, which is just one block over from the main entrance to the park. There's a parking lot there. The overflow parking will be at the makeshift visitor center because the main visitor center has been under reconstruction for over 10 years. Though I have some good news there. They finally got a construction crew to redo that place. Hopefully they'll have it done this fall. So we're going to see how that goes. I know I took my nephew there when he was 3. I think he's 12 now. It's been, it's been that long since he might've been in diapers when we took him the first time. It's been a long time, but, we've had such a good relationship with these people, and it's such a big, fight and such an historic and significant battle that a lot of us forget about because, as far as you're talking casualties and stuff like that, I think on the actual casualty list, it's number 10 on the list of the most casualties going by surrenders because they had about 12 or 13,000 people surrendered there. And really was most people would say really the beginning of the downfall of the Western theater. And for us to have so many family members and, ancestors that were there is, I've always thought we don't do enough with the national parks. I think a lot of our camps, not a criticism, but I think a lot of us are just afraid to ask to work with them. And you never know if you start working. A lot of the guys you'll find in there are pretty like-minded and will say, hey, we'd love to do something like that. And that's really what we've done. I get a lot of credit for it. I don't know if it's deserved. All I do is just prepare it and just see who's available to speak and ask for a day. And that's really, my contribution. The best part is putting together the program speaker. And we had some great speakers last year. Tom Hyder spoke, Jason spoke, Forrest Dawes spoke, and there were several others. We had the UDC was there, the OCR. They'll all be here again. This year we'll have the Patriot Guard will be coming up and posting their flags. And there's the brand new program. I think I may have a little typo in the middle there, but it should be. I saw that. Yeah. Should be fairly recent. Mr. Wayne Tate is going to be in full dress as General Lee, and he's going to talk real briefly about the Kentucky involvement there for a couple minutes. You'll see a lot of mechanized cavalry. I think we have 2 or 3 captains coming, and I think we have 4 division commanders, which is great. My last count is I think we have 7 states that are going to be there. And when I was out visiting with the park a few weeks ago, it just came into my head. I thought, man, I wonder if we've ever had a soldiers reunion of people that fought at this battlefield, because you hear about that all the time at Gettysburg and Chickamauga, places like that. But Fort Donelson, you don't hear much. I don't think there's ever been a reunion of soldiers there. And there hasn't probably been anything of any type of magnitude since they dedicated that statue in 1933 or the monument. And I thought, man, what we need to do is get the 7 states, the 7 southern states that fought there, and have a descendant from each state come and get on that battlefield and represent those states. We have 5 of the 7. I need Texas and Virginia. So if anybody from Texas and Virginia wants to drive to Tennessee and represent your state, I talked to Tony Griffin, but he's got something in Gettysburg that day. He made me an honorary Virginia, and I said that doesn't count, but I'll do it anyway. But Texas and Virginia are the only 2 missing formally. We've got Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas are all going to be there. Plus, I think we may have some. We definitely have Missouri division coming, and we may have Georgia. We may have Florida. It really just depends. So it'll be hopefully a large group. Not about numbers, obviously, but I love when a good crowd comes together. Tennessee has been great. I talked to David Daniels and the ladies down there, and obviously John. I've talked to Sean Hill. Tennessee is going to be involved with a lot of the color guard duties this year. Hopefully, we're going to have a large parade of flags. You spoke here before you went on having flags, and then you see the guest speakers for sure. Executive director, he has never been to Fort Donelson, so it's going to be a thing to get to drive him around town after it's over. I got to do that with Jason and Forrest last year. We got to do a lot of the sites, a lot of the Jack Henson stuff around town. Lonnie Wrinkle from the Bedford Forest 448 UDC, she is a spectacular speaker. I know you 2 know because you were in Union City with me, and I had to have her. I said, man, she needs to come to my division reunion, and she came and spoke to us in Russellville and did a great job, and we've brought her back here. And you see there, obviously, our keynote speakers, our past commander-in-chief, Mr. Kennedy, Donnie Kennedy, and his brother Ron. I talked to them a little bit today. We're finalizing their travel plans, and seeing what we can do to get them here. They're excited to come. Like I said, I talked to Donnie about 2 hours ago on email, and they're ready to be here and do this program the right way. So like I guess try to have nobody talk for 40 minutes this year. We'll try to keep it about 10 minutes apiece, but hopefully the weather will cooperate. We've been watching the forecast. It was calling for thunderstorms yesterday. Today it's been reduced to some scattered showers.
Yeah.
60% chance. So if it's going to be scattered, I'm not too worried about it. We were talking earlier about the audio and the PA systems. If it gets too nasty, they'll cancel it because the NPS, they won't have us out there, I'm sure. But if it's just a little bit of rain, I'll just go ahead and tell everybody, bring your umbrellas and be prepared for it if it comes and spits at us a little bit. And as far as the parking, we've covered a lot of that. The motorcycles, if you're with the Metcalf, you'll probably be able to park really close to the monument. Handicap parking right there in front. There's John's he's always on it. This is Moose and Connor could really learn from John on these things.
Now.
That's right.
Give me a new nickname.
That's right. So that's the diagram that the Park Service actually sent to me yesterday and said, here's this once I signed off on the permit and everything, and they gave us that. So they're opening up a little bit more parking for us. I think it'll probably work just based on what I've told them, what our numbers could be. So I think it'll be plenty. There'll be a little bit of walking up that hill, but like I said, when you see the main visitor parking there, that connects. You can see there's a hill right in between the Lock Road and North Fleet Drive. You can just walk down that grass if it's not too muddy or wet. You can just walk right to the driveway. So that should be good. I
guess they could drive down and drop people off they have with them and then come back and park.
You absolutely can. We did plenty of that last year. We had people just driving in and just dropping people off right at the monument. There shouldn't be any trouble. The park is really good about having people ready and on site for us. I didn't see really any issues last year. And if there were any, they didn't tell me. So they might have been overly polite, but I didn't have any complaints. The only minor complaint was there are some original earthworks that run right behind the monument, and those are original Confederate fortifications. And Jason's shaking his head. He knows. And we had a few people that wanted to sit on them because, well, naturally there's an incline there. But this year, I think our brigade commander is going to bring some caution tape and section that off. We told the park we would do anything they asked us to do. And I was talking earlier with John about they've got a beautiful convention center, like a little conference room right across the highway from Fort Donelson at the Stewart County Visitor Center. But that place is so booked up, you can never hardly get in the summertime. And that was the case again this year. And I think it's actually, financially, it's probably cheaper to do it on the battlefield than it is at the conference room. We may look into that next year if it gets too hot or something, but we're looking forward to it. I don't know what the draw was other than I was just a kid and I love going there. And I love the fact that it's only about 50 minutes from my house. So I always said when I go to national reunions that the Florida division has done a really good job of adopting me over the last 4 years and let me be, part of their little traveling crew. But Tennessee's done the same thing because, well, like I said, I like to tease them and say, well, Tennessee is just the southern part of Kentucky. So Big Brother's right above you. So there we go. It's we got a good group. I'm excited to have the guys that have reached out to me, Sean Hill and David, and a lot of the guys are saying, hey, we really want to be a part of this. Rich Garcia was there last year and did a good job. I talked to Rich about the Jeff Davis thing coming up here that we'll talk about when you're ready to do that. So we're already way ahead of that. And like I said, all we have to do is share it and just hope the weather cooperates. If it cooperates, it'll be a fantastic time.
Well, again, that's this Saturday, August the 1st. The time, we're going to start right around 11:30, I believe. Kyle, that's the plan?
Yeah, 11:30. That's hopefully the start time. We went a little bit over, and that was the first thing that the head ranger told me. He said, y'all were a little bit over this year, but he was winking at me because they didn't care. I told him, I said, you just stock your merchandise, and we'll try to buy everything from you. We'll try to get you some stuff. So I told them to get all their patches restocked, get their shirts stocked, because they have some really nice shirts at Fort Donelson. Wear them with pride. So I told him to stock up on that. I did a little bit earlier because we went a little bit late last year. Carl Jones was a late addition last year. He came up from Alabama. I think he told me the night before, I'm going to come up. I'm okay. We shuffle our plans, and that's a good thing. It was not a negative. He did a great job too. So we had a lot of guys talking, and it may go that way this year. So we'll do that 11:30 time to give us that 30-minute leeway because, like I said, there are some guys that like to talk. And sometimes you got to give them a timeout and say, hey, we got to get going. So
give them
the park
that
is good. The park is great. The park is great with working with us on it. I figured that 30 minutes would give us a little bit of leeway time. everything should go well. I know the OCR and the UDC are going to do a kind of a joint wreath laying, and maybe we'll get to try out this new audio with taps and a lot of other stuff. So it'll sound a lot better than it did last year. And I thought last year was pretty good. The weather cooperated great with us. People like Jason don't need microphones. So I don't think I do either. Tom doesn't. So, but there are a few that I don't care. You put them in their hands and they will just stick it at their waist and ignore it. I'm like,
yeah,
no,
that's true. Yeah. Pull that
paid
thing,
a lot of money.
Pull that up here.
It works right here. So please put the microphone up here when it's your turn to talk. So
Kyle mentioned something about, I know somebody asked me about this already, about firearms, whether it's period weapons or modern weapons. You want to address that for folks that may have that question, because it is a park.
Yeah, the MPS, it's a little different than the state parks. We work even closer with Columbus Belmont State Park, and I'll invite both of you guys there in October. It's going to be awesome. But the state's a little bit different than the national park. We did a cannon demonstration there for some homeschool kids right before school ended this last semester. Wouldn't let us fire them. We we used one of their cannons that were on the field, an actual period cannon. We showed them how to use it. Some of the guys from the Wycliffe camp did a little demonstration, but we wouldn't fire it. I had a lot of people ask about bringing a musket or bringing a gun for the honor guard and for the flags. It would look great visually, but the thing is, when you bring any type of weapon, antique or not, the NPS will inspect it and make sure that it doesn't fire. And, if you have anything with you, then you'll have to leave it in the car. So I've always told them, don't bring them, just because it'll be a lot of a hassle. And if you got 20 people bringing muskets in, we'll never get the ceremony in. We'll be there all day doing a security check. So,
that's the same thing for modern firearms as well.
Yeah, same thing for modern. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people like to carry privately, and that's fine. You just keep it to yourself. I know a lot of us do, but there's like I said, as far as the muskets and the cannons, we won't be doing any of that. Now that may change in the future. These guys are pretty cool with us, and if anything changes to where we can fire, then it'd make it even better maybe next year. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, it's going to be a good time coming up this Saturday, starting at 11:30 at Fort Donaldson. And let's talk about something else happening at the Jefferson Davis Monument there in Kentucky. You've got something going on there.
That's brand new news, and we were talking pre-show. Kentucky State, I don't know what the deal is. Some of them are hot, some of them are cold. Columbus Belmont is red hot. Thousands of people every year, the second weekend of October. And you would think that the Jefferson Davis Monument in Fairview, it's not the easy. I mean, it's easy to get to, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it's a 352-foot obelisk you can see from miles away. And you're like, okay, he was, the president was born there. Let's do something big there. And of course, years ago, before I joined the SCV, they did full reenactments and encampments, but it's all died off. And I know it's been that way across the country in a lot of ways. But we did a centennial event there for the monument, the 100th anniversary of the monument in 2024. And we had a great picture that was in the Veteran magazine. It had about 100 of us in front of that monument holding our flags. Kentucky, just depend on, the governor's not particularly friendly with us. Obviously, you all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of go through a lot of hoops. That started out as hey, we would like you to do a really big event for the centennial. And then once we got it all planned, some stuff started changing. It come from, to be fair, it was not the park. It came from much higher up in the government to where we were going to make it a national event. I remember calling Jimmy Hill, and he was so excited about doing a national event at the monument. And it got kind of downgraded to a divisional event. And even then, though, it turned out to be pretty well. Like I said, it was a full Friday and Saturday, and considering what we paid for it, it turned out great. The following year, we didn't do anything. It was just a little bit of a frosty relationship, because as good a turnout as we had in 24, 25, it's like, well, we couldn't get in there. This past week, I got a call from the park director, and like I said, I won't use his name or nothing, but he asked if we could do a full living history event at the Davis Monument on October 23rd through the 25th, and a full weekend, 3 days. And he wants to do some homeschool kids and educators. He said, we'll get it done for you. So I'm like, okay, October, that's not that far away. I know you two know that. Once you find an event, it gets here in about 2 weeks, it feels like. So once October 23rd rolls around, and I just got that date confirmed today, because we had a little bit of scheduling conflict with that weekend, but we've decided we're going to go ahead and do it because we could have the maximum turnout. I've already talked to Rich and some of the guys in Tennessee Division, and they're chomping at the bit to be involved at the Davis Monument into a full 3-day living history of encampments and soldier drilling. We can probably have the muskets and the cannons on site there. Probably can't fire them, but you can at least bring them on and show people how they work. But we've got a lot of guys committed to that. I've already got a flyer for it, and I don't know if I have not sent it to you yet, but I will. So hopefully it'll be on your next show. But that's new in the making, and I'm hoping there's been some turnaround with some of our state leadership, because that park and the staff are wonderful people. And, every time we're there, say, please do something for our park. We'd love to have you. And yeah, there's one of the best shots you'll ever see of it. Hopefully right out there in front of the visitor center, there's a big, nice open area there. We had some guys camp there in 2024. I'm hoping they'll let them do it again. And like I said, if we can get people in period uniform and stuff and teach kids, I'm going to be doing some period games for the kids. Let them put their hands on stuff. It doesn't involve cell phones and tablets. So make it something a little tangible. I've recently picked up trying to play chess at age 42, and I'm terrible at it, but I'm going to try to put a little table up with some checkers and chess and let the kids put some pieces in their hands, and then some games from the 1860s and 50s to show these kids that not everything was digital, obviously, once upon a time. And just do that. But that's what we're looking at in October. It's going to be a busy October, because I think that's going to be 3 living history events we're doing in Kentucky on that weekend.
That's a lot happening.
But that's good. That's the job. Like I think the guy that's sitting right below me on this, he's the one that always says, if we don't do it, who will?
That's
and if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? He's correct. And I say that to everybody. So if he ever gets booed and says, you're the problem, well, it's me telling him that. So I'll use his name on that. But we're excited.
Kyle, if you've never been to this Jeff Davis monument there, that thing is huge. It's like 300 and some odd feet tall.
351 or 52. And unbelievably, the elevator is working right now. We actually got to ride up in it in June. It was down for almost 2 years.
Oh,
if that
wow.
tells you anything about maintenance in the state of Kentucky. And like I said, it's odd because Columbus Belmont is on the river, right there in Missouri, across the Mississippi. And it's so much different, but it's all Kentucky park system. All of it is the same umbrella. And we've just never had a whole lot of luck in Fairview. And I'm hoping that's changing. I'm giving them a lot of credit, because this was them reaching out to me for once. It wasn't me going, let me come do something for your park. The director called me, and I mean, he's a friend of mine anyway. And I understand some of the pressure that comes from the government like that. I mean, you have to, nobody's going to lose their job for a lot of this stuff. So he gets a lot of credit for wanting to put something on there. And anywhere there's kids, these camps in West Kentucky, Wickliffe and Calvert City and Benton, they're gonna be there to hang out with the kids and show them some stuff that they've never seen before. So hopefully everybody can make plans to be there. Once I get the flyer completely finished, I'll send it out to you, and you can put it out as much as you want to.
Absolutely. It's going to be another good event. 2 big things coming up this Saturday at Fort Donaldson starting at 11:30. We'll put up one more time as we wrap up. There is the parking. You've got parking if you're coming from the Paris way, you'll see it there on the left. If you're coming out of Dover, you'll see it there on the right, the main visitor parking. And then again, closer to the monument, there'll be a little bit of handicap parking there and for motorcycles. So we expect a big crowd. And again, we'll show the schedule once again, the lineup of people speaking. And again, I'll be on point. I'll be short and sweet, because there's a lot of folks that want to say some good things. And we appreciate all those taking time out to come and be a part of this. And then, of course, our keynote speakers for the day, the Kennedys. The Kennedys are fantastic. If you've never heard them speak, I don't know where you've been, because they speak a lot. And I'll leave it alone. Donnie will get mad at me if I pick at him too much. But he's just coming off Commander-in-Chief, now past Commander-in-Chief. And I know he said he wears that title proudly. So we appreciate all he's done for the organization over the past 2 years. And again, it's going to be a big time there with him and his brother as the main speakers. Ron will be there too, and a lot of other folks. And we'll honor our ancestors there at that Soldiers Monument. Of course, all 3 of us have had ancestors that were there during the time of the battle at Fort Donaldson. So a special time to come back there. And I always carry, Kyle, if you've seen me speak, I think you saw in Union City, I bring that picture of my ancestor that was there. And I want to sure bring that photograph with me. I don't think I've ever brought his photograph with me in the original to the site. So that'll be pretty neat to have that there when I say something on Saturday.
That's an awesome idea. I don't have an original of my great-great-grandfather, but I've got a picture of him. I think it's post-war. He went off. I think he went off to Mississippi after the war, and he never came home. His grave is lost to history. My mom's been down there a bunch trying to find it. She's never found it. So we're thinking about maybe doing a cenotaph for him here in Callaway County. But that's a good idea. If you're bringing an original, I'll at least bring a photocopy of mine. Maybe
bring a photo. I think that'd be neat to have us both there with a picture of our ancestor that was at Donaldson.
Maybe Jason can send one of his and we can hold it up in the middle and we can have all three of them at the same time. So
yeah, we can do that.
That'll work.
Y'all are blessed. I have no pictures of any of my relatives.
Well, we can just use your picture.
The next best thing.
Best thing. Yeah, that'll work.
Well, let's go ahead, guys, and we'll go ahead and take our break. We'll come back. We want to talk a couple of other things, really national related. We'll go over those list of the new GEC officers. I know folks that may not have seen that's been put out there. We'll mention that, and then we'll come back and wrap up the program, and we'll be right back after this. Stay with us.
When my mother was in college, she danced with Confederate veterans. To me, it wasn't that far away. My father knew this. My mother knew this. Almost 50 years ago, I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In those days, we weren't concerned about saving monuments or any of those things. That wasn't necessary. In fact, none of us had any remote idea that it would ever come up. We can't just sit there and react. We have to be proactive. Or, as Robert E. Lee said, the best way to disrupt your enemy's plans is to strike first. Everyone should do all in his power to collect and disseminate the truth, in the hope that it may find a place in history and descend to posterity. History is not the relation of campaigns and battles and generals or other individuals, but that which shows the principles for which the South contended and which justified her struggle for those principles. If you're looking for some place to be where you think you're going to accomplish something to save our history, go to the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm Thomas Lee Jesse. I'm a descendant of Private Daughtery Gilmer, a Confederate veteran.
And welcome back into Tennessee Tuesday this evening. Thank you for watching with us tonight. John Blankenship and Jason Boshears here with you. Kyle Thompson has been our guest this evening, and he is back, so we'll drop him back on the screen. Again, guys, as we get ready to wrap up tonight briefly, not a whole lot of other business to share as we just came off the national reunion in Lexington, Kentucky, and we talked a little bit about that at the first of the show, but we went through in the special edition of Tennessee Tuesday this last week. I had went through that list of those that were elected and some of those appointed positions, but there's been a couple of others that have been appointed since that program and when that was done and shared. So we want to go through that list again here that has been put out there of all those elected. Of course, Tony Griffin was elected the commander-in-chief of the SCV. He will serve the next 2 years, and congratulations again to Commander Griffin. And I know he's going to do a fantastic job leading our organization. Charles LeRae has been elected as your lieutenant commander-in-chief, and he'll be serving also for the next 2 years. So congratulations once again to Charles, and we look forward to, in Tennessee, working with both of those gentlemen. Also, your adjutant-in-chief that has been appointed, J. Michael Pullen, has been appointed to that position. And again, all these serve for the next 2 years, 26 through 28. Chuck McMichael has been named Chief of Staff. Also, Scott Hall remains as Judge Advocate in Chief. And then Connor Bond has been appointed the Chief of Heritage Operations. Congratulations to him. Michael Hurley, past Texas Division Commander, has been appointed as the National Chaplain in Chief. Congratulations to him as well. And I'm going to get him back, and he knows what I'm talking about if he's watching. No, I appreciate Commander Hurley. Fine gentleman, fine Christian man.
They did great last year in Houston. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, learning from some of the best, and he's going to do a great job as chaplain. Also, our very own Tennessee David Daniels has been appointed as the genealogist in chief of the SCV. So congratulations to David. He's a great expert genealogist, and he's going to do a good job leading that committee. Also, we'll go through our three armies and the councilmen and commanders. Jamie Graham elected as the Army of Northern Virginia commander, and Randy Burbidge elected as the Army of Northern Virginia councilman. James Patterson has been elected Army of Tennessee Commander. Forrest Dawes as the Army of Tennessee Councilman. John McCammon, Army of Trans-Mississippi Commander. And Bobby Herring, the new Army of Trans-Mississippi Councilman. So congratulations to those gentlemen. And, of course, remaining on the General Executive Council, our very own Jason Boshears as past Commander-in-Chief, Larry McClooney, and now Donnie Kennedy adding to that list of past Commander-in-Chiefs that will serve. And, Jason, I believe you served 4 more years, correct? And you're still muted.
Yes, I keep hearing the echo and wanted to make sure it was me.
He's smarter than us. Yeah, smarter than me.
I'll be done 4 more years, 2 more terms. Yes.
Well, congratulations to all you guys. Appreciate Jason. Of course, you're here with us live tonight, so appreciate your leadership in the SCV, and we'll continue to do well. And congratulations to all those that have been appointed, and there's several committees that are being named as well. So congratulations to those that we didn't mention names tonight that are joining in committees for the different armies and for the national organization. Congratulations to all those. And here in Tennessee, we're ready to work with you, and I'm sure Kyle will say the same thing in Kentucky.
Yep.
Ready to work with our new leadership.
That's the whole job. The whole point is keep on going. There's no off season in the SCV, and maybe that's why I like it so much. That's it.
Exactly right. We're busy folks. Lots of things going on. Again, we want to say thanks to all those that have been in the chat tonight. There's been several conversations back and forth. There's been some wrestling conversations. We've talked about our ancestors at Fort Donelson. Several checking in, just saying hello tonight. We do appreciate you watching this show. I see Mr. Bernard there, Commander Bernard, joining from Arkansas. Got to meet him as well. And
he'll be there. He'll be there Saturday. Yeah, he's coming up from Arkansas. He'll be there with us.
Yeah, got to talk to him this past weekend and many others. So thank you to everybody being with us tonight. Gentlemen, that's all I have, unless you guys have anything else y'all need to let us know about.
There's my ancestor, Private Andrew Jackson Hicks at Fort Donelson. I think not a war photo. I think it's post-war, but that's the best one we have. So you're bringing yours. I will bring this one.
Yeah, I'll show you.
There we go.
Yeah, he's here behind me.
Yeah, can't beat that.
I don't know how well the light may reflect off of it. There he is.
And we got Jason right in the middle, so all 3 of them are represented. There you go.
There you go. So it's going to be a good time, a special time on Saturday. We'll be at the Soldiers Monument, Confederate Soldiers Monument, there at Fort Donelson, just outside of Dover, Tennessee. Come be with us. It's going to be a great time. And again, as we wrap up tonight, guys, let's go through, Jason, let's go through the programs that are coming up besides ours that you hear on Tennessee Tuesday. And I'm hoping we can challenge Kyle to think about considering doing a program in Kentucky like this.
We'll see. We'll like I just said, there's no off season, so I have no excuse now. So might as well.
Well, you're a good talker, so you have no problem talking. So you could carry one of these easy.
Yeah, I've got report cards going back in elementary school. It says talks too much. It never stops.
Some other great programs, of course, outside of Tennessee Tuesday. Jason, tell about what's happening on Wednesday night. And I got to meet this young man in person at the reunion this year.
Wednesday night, we have a look around Florida with the Florida man, Mr. Sean McFall. This program starts at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Good dude.
And Thursday nights. On the very first Thursday night, now, I'm hoping that it won't be this coming Thursday, but the next Thursday would be actually Commander's Comments. And that would be with the new Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Tony Griffin. Mm-hmm. And the other Thursday nights are just regular look around the Confederation, and those shows start at 7 p.m. Central Time. John, why don't you tell us about David Pope and Friday night?
Yeah, David Pope is going to be on Friday nights. He's there most every Friday night with the Friends of the Douglas Southall Freeman Facebook group. You can go there and request to join. And David is very educational. You'll always, he's not as humorous as we get sometimes, all of us guys. He's serious and to the point, but good information with David. So if you like Douglas Southall Freeman, you're familiar with him. You'll love the discussion that David Pope has on Friday nights. And I know David's in the chat tonight. So if he's got a new show coming up, he can comment there and we'll mention about it before we wrap up. So David's on Friday nights at 7 o'clock in the Friends of the Douglas Southall Freeman Facebook group. And then, of course, so let's see here. He's jumped in. This Friday night is an encore presentation about young Washington. Nice. Now, have y'all guys got to see that yet? It's showing here in our town. I really want to try to go see that.
I have not saw it. My former commander, Mr. Tate, that's going to play General Lee on Saturday, he saw it and he loved it. So if Wayne says it's good, I'll usually defer to his opinion. So I'll go check it out when I can. And I have to tell David, he always invites me to visit with him and have some coffee when I'm in Knoxville in that area, and I never get a chance to run into him. So if I can get the division reunion moved to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge next year, like I told Jason I was going to, I don't know if they'll let me do it or not, but I'll try. Maybe we can have that coffee and have that conversation.
Yeah, I see Moose says tonight it's great. So I want to check that out. I've heard good stuff about it. So we're going to have to check out that movie. And then, of course, on Sunday nights, Michael C. Hardy will be on with Hardy on History. He's there most Sunday nights. A little different time. That's 7:30 Central Time. And always enjoy Mr. Hardy. He does a fantastic job, a great author, a great historian. He's one of those guys I say, being a historian myself, and you guys I know are as well, you love hearing another historian talk and the information he gives and the stuff you learn. Great conversation. I've been a guest on his program. Always a great show with Michael C. Hardy. That's on Sunday nights. Hardy on History on Facebook. Go find that there, and on YouTube. And you'll enjoy his program as well. And then, of course, we come back around to Monday night, the original show Connor and Moose have with SCV Chat. It's the one that started all this, I believe, over 6 years ago now. And again, Jason, that's on Monday nights.
Yes, it is. And you're right. It is. I was elected Lieutenant Commander in Chief in Jacksonville in 2020, and a young Connor and an even younger Harrison approached me about doing this show, and it started just a month or so later. So you are now looking at a full 6 calendar years.
Yeah,
and
so
those young boys have done a fantastic job. You couldn't have asked for anything better.
Absolutely. And that's the original show on Monday nights at 7 o'clock on SCV Chat. And again, that wraps up all the programs, guys. Again, a couple of websites I encourage you to visit if you'd like to be a sponsor of the programs, scvchat.com. You can find out about sponsorships. And then, of course, TennesseeTuesday.com. You can see past episodes of our show here. It is available to you. So that's right. What is oof?
What's oof?
Yeah.
I'm giving him credit.
Yeah.
Yes, he was 6 years younger. He was a broke college student at that time. Now he's a broke adult like the rest of us.
It doesn't change. It just gets worse.
Yep. It never changes. There's always, well, they say if you don't have debt, you're not doing anything. Sometimes that's good and bad, I guess.
Yes.
Well, gentlemen, I believe that's going to wrap us up tonight. Kyle, thank you so much for being with us. Look forward to seeing you Saturday. Again, that's at 11:30 at Fort Donaldson Park there, just outside of Dover. Come be with us on Saturday for a special time. Again, thank you to everyone for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back with you with a new episode next week as we've kicked off season 3 tonight. We'll be back next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. I hope everyone has a great rest of this week. Try to stay cool. It's hot here in West Tennessee and hot across the South. Be careful. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.